Hello, Loveland. I'm Mike Meldon, and this is your Loveland Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Gina Dubell-Smith, eXp Realty, and Stone Pillars Farm. Today, you're going to hear my conversation with my friend, Linda Bergholz. She's the Executive Director of RePete's Closet for Kids, a new nonprofit with a powerful mission rooted in compassion, dignity, and community. After more than a decade of working with another local organization, Linda saw a need she couldn't ignore. Too many families in the Loveland area struggle to provide something as basic as clothing for their children. While food insecurity is often discussed, clothing is just as essential and far less accessible. RePete's Closet for Kids was created to meet that need. So sit back and listen to our conversation. Learn all about RePete's Closet for Kids, how and why it was created, and how you can help out. Enjoy.
So, my name is Linda Bergholz. I am the Executive Director of RePete's Closet for Kids. I was with another organization for 13 years, and when I left that organization, I felt that there was a need in the community that needed to be filled. The first thing that I wanted to do was something to honor my parents. I'm an only child, and I was very blessed to never have to worry about having the things I needed or wanted, but mostly never the things that I needed.
Right.
And I know that in this community, there are a lot of kids that don't have that ability. My parents were very, very special people. I was quite indulged. And my mother was a huge baseball fan. Hated her name Mary. Didn't like that at all. Loved Pete Rose. And so at one point in my life when I was engaged to be married, my fiance wanted to know what to call her. And she said, anything but Mary. And he said, okay, I think I'm going to call you Pete. And the nickname stuck. And so she was known as Pete to her friends. She was known always as Pete to her grandchildren.
That's
and
so
they
neat.
called her Pete or Petey all of her life. And so when it came time for me to think of a name for, I want to do clothing for kids because I know that that is a huge need in this area. And there isn't a free clothing store anywhere around this area within either walking distance of the families that live here in lower income housing. Or even if they drive, it's difficult for many of these families. They don't have money for gas, or they don't have a vehicle, and so they have to carpool. And so to open something for these families, it needed to be in a place that they had access to. And so knowing that I wanted to open something like that, I needed a name that was significant. And so RePete's
It's perfect.
was perfect to me. Clothing, of course, being a woman, many of us like clothing. And my father, believe it or not, was the one that was very significant about that. As a child, I remember walking down the street in the winter with him, coming back from a dance lesson, because I took dance when I was little, and piano and ballet and all of these things. There was a homeless man on the street, and it was cold, and Dad took his coat off and handed it to him.
It's amazing.
And that stuck with me all of my life.
Heck
that,
yeah.
Here's my father that didn't think twice about anything. He just took off his coat, handed it to the man. I feel quite confident money was involved too. He probably slipped money into the pocket because I had seen him do that for other things, just walk past and hand them money. I'd seen him buy meals for people and just hand it to them as we were walking past. Neither of my parents made a big deal out of those kind of things. It was just part
It was
of
who
what
they
we
are,
did.
and it's who they are, right?
Exactly.
I know, just from me knowing you have a business in town.
Yes, I do. Loveland Music Academy.
Loveland Music, very successful, and that is, your business. But you've, for as long as I've known you, and longer, much longer, you devote almost half your time or plus to nonprofits and doing something additional.
Yes,
Giving
that's
back,
true.
right?
That is true.
So, and that comes from your parents.
It does. Loveland Music Academy is my vocation,
Right.
but it's not my avocation. And doing charitable work is my avocation. I ran a nonprofit organization for 32 years before the other one that I had been with. It was a music experience.
I didn't realize that.
No, it's called
Okay.
Junior Music Experience. And just this past year, it has been reinvented and it's up and running again. And it's a
Nice.
piano student evaluation, and it's just for piano students where they come and they play for a judge and they receive points and they get certificates and ribbons. And it was something that my friend and I felt like, kids play soccer and they get rewards and they do all these other things, but piano students don't have that. It's not like band where you're playing
Right.
with a bunch of other kids.
Yeah.
You're here by yourself and you don't get recognition for that.
And it
So
started
we-
up again?
So we started it up again. She passed away a number of years ago, but another friend and I, who was also involved, started it back up again because we felt like, it's still important, and she was willing to help run it. And so we started that back up again.
That's amazing.
So,
Your
I've
time.
been.
I don't know how you, I mean, a lot of people say
little
that about
busy.
me. Yeah, a lot of people say that about me, and it's like, for you. Let's dive in. I just want to dive into this just for a second before we get to repeat even more. This idea, because it's one of those things when you get into this world of nonprofits, right? You see a lot of the same
Yes.
people, right? How do you see people in giving time for, not for themselves, for not, and I hate to use the word not for profit, but I think that's really kind of how I look at it is, I'm not doing this for benefit financially. I'm doing
Right.
it because I want to live in a community that's better and people that and with around people that are more fulfilled, and I enjoy that. How do you feel that society is it getting better in that direction or the same, or what do you think?
It really varies, and I find that many younger people, and I probably was the same way when I was in my 30s, raising kids, you're really, really busy. You don't have a lot of time for
Yeah.
those things. Younger kids, high school kids, college kids, they're volunteering more, I believe, than they did when I was that age. Part of it is because they're required to do it through school. They need those service hours. But I think part of it is your age, my age, we're educating our children about the need for community support and to help other people in the things that they need. And then older people like me have just done it all of our lives.
Yeah.
And so it's just something we do.
Yeah.
When you live in a community like this, it's not a huge community. Everyone knows everyone else for the most part. And so you get involved in doing those kind of things. And so the volunteers that I have here, which are amazing people, volunteer for a number of different organizations. So they kind of overlap.
There's a lot of crossover.
There's a
It's
lot of
interesting.
crossover, a lot of
And
overlap.
sometimes I find myself talking to people, it's almost like, and I don't want to be down on it, but sometimes it's the same people that are overworking themselves. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, are we going to get a new batch of, don't get me wrong, like you said, I love, my daughter volunteers and a lot of her friends do and the high school kids do. And I think it's probably just maybe, like you said, maybe when this group of parents that are really in the thick of it, I'm in the thick of it a little bit, but my time's freeing up a little bit. Maybe they'll be the next group that comes in. But I can see how some people are overworked in the volunteer sector.
Well, and the expression, if you want something done, ask a busy person. There's a reason for that.
I've never heard that, but I believe that 100%.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
interesting.
And it's because those of us that are involved in doing a lot of things have learned to allocate our time.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I do on Tuesday, and nothing's going to separate me from that. It's on the
I've never
schedule.
heard
There
that
you
saying,
go.
and I love
Really?
that saying.
Yeah.
Because you know how many times people say they don't have time, and it's like, I know the busiest people on war. You know what I mean? It's like,
There
yeah,
you go,
yeah,
the
that's-
busiest people. And that's an expression that I grew up with. And you're
like
right, it's always the same people that are doing multiple things.
Yeah.
Some of it is because it's just something that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I like to volunteer. I like to help other people do things. And it's just part of who I am.
Yeah.
And so, there are some people that are better working behind the scenes. There are some people that are better getting out there and directing. I have a couple of volunteers here that I just love to work with because they'll come in and say, I don't want to be in charge of anything. Just tell me what you want me to do and I will go do it.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
love
very
that.
much,
Yes.
because we need some people to be chiefs and we need other people to be worker bees and just do what needs to be
Isn't
done.
that funny? Because those are the type of people I ran into when I was with Love Our Land, is we would get people that come in and go, hey, I don't want to go to a meeting and talk about what we're going to do next. I want to go down and I want to pull weeds. I want to cut down non-invasive. And you're like, yeah, you want those workers. You want the other ones with the ideas. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you came up with this amazing idea because you saw the need.
I saw the need. I had heard the need over and over and over for 13 years with another organization, that food and clothing were the two greatest needs for the people that were in that poverty level, low income position in their lives.
And how does this work? So how is this going to work for people that do have that need?
So families that are at the poverty level, the low income families, and I hate words like that. And we try very carefully to not label and to not pocket people into things, but we have to have the reality of you have to qualify. We can't just have anybody walk in off the street and take whatever they want.
Right.
And so we use the same guidelines as the federal government uses for what they call poverty level. And so people that will come in can show us that they qualify under that income level. We don't ask them to prove what their income level is. We simply have a sheet of paper and we show it to them and say, for how many people in your family do you fit this?
You're not saying go find these forms. I like
Absolutely
that. Yeah.
not.
Good.
We just show it to them, and part of it is you just take it on trust. And the fact is, with rare exception, most of the people that come in aren't coming here because they want to scam you.
No.
Nobody wants to come and admit any more than they want to say they can't feed their families. They don't want to say they can't clothe their kids.
Sure.
But the reality is they need help, and that's what we're here to provide. That's why it looks like this. We don't want it to look like, I won't mention those kind of names, but we want it to look like a store, a shop, a boutique.
Yes.
Not a place where it's all used.
No, this looks 100% is a place where you would go in and want to buy.
And want to buy things. And we've had a number of people come in and say, oh, how do I know how much it costs? Well, that's not how this works. So we register them, and after they've proved, they've said what their income is, and they prove that the children live with them, and they give us their address, and then we shop quarterly. So they're awarded points on a quarterly basis. And it's quarters, just like you would run in a school system, January to March, et cetera, per child, they get 40 points. And then the clothing is assigned certain points, they choose. It's not a situation where we bag things up and say, here, this is what you're gonna wear.
Right.
It's just like if they had $40, they have 40 points, they shop, and they pick what they want.
And they're on a real shopping experience. I'm right here as we're talking. I'm looking. I'm seeing there's a table with all Loveland sports gear here, spirit wear.
Absolutely.
And then below, for kids that don't go to Loveland, you got Moeller stuff, King stuff, St. Ursula stuff, and then like you said, looking around, many different types of shoes. And I mean, it is a store.
It's a store.
It's a store that in it looks. I see many of the stuff is brand new.
Oh, a lot of it is brand new.
A lot of it is brand new.
We have purchased some, but a lot of very generous people have said, oh, found this on sale, thought you could use it. They go out, they shop for us. It's incredible. People like my own daughter will get things and the kids don't wear them, and instead of taking them back, they donate it to us. So
and
that's
right
incredible.
across the street is Goodwill.
Yes, it is. But you have to buy things at Goodwill.
Right.
And you don't have to buy things here.
And a lot of people donate to Goodwill right now.
Yes, they
so it's easier just to take a left or go across the street.
Yeah, and the slogan we would love to have is, instead of going to that other place, why don't you bring it here?
Yeah.
And nothing that comes here is thrown away. Unless it has bodily fluids on it. We did get something that had blood on it one day, and
Well,
it's
you
like,
can't do that.
no, we
no.
can't take that. But if it's something that has a little stain that we can get out,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just simply use stain remover, wash it, and it's fine. If it's something, however, that's like dated and no teenager is going to wear that, or something that we simply cannot use for whatever reason, then it is placed in a pass it along bin, and it will go to St. Vincent de Paul or Matthew 25, somewhere that can use it. And if it's simply so bad that it can't be used for anything else, it'll be a rag that we use to clean.
So if people do want to drop off their clothes, and me and you talked about this, I said, hey, a lot of this is for, younger kids from
Right.
infant to, 18 years
Yes,
old,
from
right?
newborn till they graduate high school.
But if you're an adult, you said, hey, bring in your clothes, because these kids are wearing, I'm wearing a flannel right now. These kids are going to
Any
wear the
teenage
same,
boy
or
would
the
wear
jeans
that.
I'm wearing, right.
Exactly.
So bring this stuff in. What do you just say? Bring it in a plastic bag and just anytime bring it up into you?
Bring it in. If we're not open, you can make an arrangement with us. You can email us or you can call us and set a time. Or if we're here Tuesday, Thursday, we're here 10 to 6. Saturdays, we're here 10 to 2. And so you can bring it in anytime. If we're open, if you want to come during the hours we're open, then you just come around to the back to donate, so you're not walking through
Exactly,
people shopping.
yes, right.
But we open at 9:30 to donation, so if you wanted to come earlier, that's fine, or you can call or email us and we'll make arrangements to make sure that we're here when you want to drop things. We ask that it be clean, and that it does not smell like smoke or any heavily perfumed or something like that. But those are really our only requirements. We don't take toys and cribs, furniture, things like that. We don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
We're clothing. That's what we do.
And
Clothing.
shoes. You got shoes.
Clothing and shoes,
Lots
right.
of shoes and lots of clothing.
Right, and then
hats.
we do accessories. We have jewelry and purses, but that's part of the experience of being a kid, is the kind of things that kids want. And so that's what we try to have. We have loungewear, formerly known as pajamas. We have newborn, so we have babies, and we do welcome expectant mothers because they're doing a layette, and many of the pregnant moms, don't have the resources to get the clothing they're going to need for after the baby comes.
Oh.
And so we have brand new newborn things. We even have a few maternity things.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
For moms. And we have the store set up, mostly boys on one side, mostly girls on the other, simply for ease of finding things. But we are generic in that, in fact, we had a little girl last week who didn't want the pink unicorn shirt. She wanted the black t-shirt.
Yeah.
And okay, then let her have the black t-shirt. It doesn't matter. So we are not gender specific. Any kid can wear anything they want to. Doesn't matter to us in the least.
And so you talk a little bit about the point system in that, let's say you come in, how do these people know? Do you automatically keep a list of them and then recharge their points at the next quarter?
Yes. So we have, you'll see one right
I
there,
see it right
a
there.
shopping system.
Okay.
And so they can take that sheet along with them while they're shopping, so it's easy for them to keep track of their points as they're shopping if they want to. And it tells what each thing is, how many points a pair of jeans are, how many points a t-shirt. You can get a lot for 40 points.
Yeah.
But you don't have to use it all at one time. So if you find that you only found 3 or 4 things right now, you can come back.
That's
Within
neat.
that quarter, you can come back as many times as you have points for. And then
Starts all over.
starts all over
Whatever
again.
points you don't use will get erased, but you get a new 40
But you
points
get a
at
new
the new
40
quarter.
points at the new quarter, and it's per child, not per family. So if you have 5 kids, you have 5 sets of 40 points for each kid. Now, you can't use all the points on one child. Each kid has their own points.
Yes.
But it really is a quite generous system,
It is.
and there are some free things too. And
So
so,
you got some stuff to pick up for free. So what areas are covered? What for people that live where?
so we do all of 45140, which, as you know, is a very large
It is.
area. We do 45122 because Goshen has nothing out there, and so we do all of that area, and we do 45249,
Okay.
which is the Fields Erdel-ish area over there. And so anybody living in any of those areas are welcome to come. If someone comes in that is not from one of those areas, we will give them referrals to places that we know are within that area.
Good.
But that being said, if someone comes in and there is a genuine, immediate need, we will take care of
You're
that
not
for
gonna turn
them.
somebody away, right?
You know, that happens sometimes. You know,
Sure.
there's a house fire, or there's somebody just moved in, they don't have what they need, they have to go to school tomorrow, they don't have shoes, they don't know where to go. We'll take care of it.
And I
Things
think-
happen.
Yeah, the need is there. I think the thing too is just the name recognition for RePete's, and that when you start to see school drives.
Yes.
And to recognize that, hey, I've never heard of this before. Well, it's because it's brand new.
Yes.
And if you're going to donate clothing and shoes and accessories, now this should be at the top of your list.
Absolutely. And the school has been very generous because they're doing a drive for spiritware.
Great.
And I love the new resource officer because she is emptying the lost and founds
Oh, there you go.
and bringing it here.
Yeah.
So parents that haven't seen things, they might see it again because it's coming here, because you know how kids are.
Oh.
They lose things. And
Yep.
so they're making good use of it.
Yes.
And that's the important thing. Things are not going to waste. Kids are getting what they need. And kids need to feel good about what they're wearing to school. This is really important. We know that one of the top things for kids missing school is they don't feel like they fit in, and therefore they don't want to go.
Yeah.
This place has the kind of things, and we've worked very hard with this.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things the kids are wearing.
100%. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at it now. This looks like a store that any kid's going to want to walk through and grab. It's not like, I got to go there and grab that at all. It's phenomenal.
And that's exactly what we worked for. And we've even brought in some kids, some teenagers, some grandkids, et cetera, and gone, okay, would you wear this? And sometimes they said, oh, yeah, they would love that. Or other ones have said, there is not a teenager on the planet that would wear that. Okay,
you're learning.
then we will pass it along. And we know that teenagers are a special breed, all of their own. We have a dedicated space, a teen room, only for teens. And their clothing is separated from all the other clothing because they don't want to come in here and shop with a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
They want their own space, just like Abercrombie and those kind of places. They have their own space that they can go to. We have a very nice dressing room that people can go in and try things on instead of having to guess at whether or not it's going to fit them. And so we're trying to accommodate all the needs.
It's phenomenal. I just the name just people. I just want them on the top of their list in their head when they're given. This has to be the first thing they think of. So where are you located again?
We are at 541 Loveland Madera Road. We are between the BMV or the DMV, depending on which way you call it, and Kumon Learning Center in Shoppers Haven, right across from the elementary schools, the primary and elementary, in the same plaza as the library.
There you go.
And so I can't be any more specific than that.
No, and
But you can't miss us.
And it's a cute little shop. I mean, just
Thank
with this
you.
window and everything, it's
Isn't this adorable?
It adds a lot.
One of our very, very wonderful volunteers, I said to her, I want some window clings that look like clothes that we can put up. And she said, okay, let me try. And she brought them in, and it was like she picked my brain in there, because that's exactly what
It's
they
perfect.
are.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So what do you have to add? What do people need to know before we go?
People need to know two things. We need, of course, items for people to choose from, but we need volunteers. We want people to come that will help sort
Good.
and to help stock and to help clients, because the clients shop on their own, but sometimes they like to have somebody help them, like, well, I don't know exactly what size I want. Can you help me find
Sure.
this or that or something else? And I think what people don't really understand is these people are not, I don't know the right word. They're the same people as we are.
Sure.
There's an image somehow that we need to break. a
Yeah.
stigma that we need to get
Yep.
away from. These are families just like the rest of the families.
And they
just
have
need
pride.
a little help.
And they're pride.
They have pride, they
Yes.
have dignity, and that's what we want them to have when they come in here. So we need people that want to come in and get excited. Our volunteers that I've had so far that are on my board have had so much fun shopping with the clients, because you get the little kids that are so excited about oh my gosh, look
pick
at
it
this
out.
shirt that I
Sure.
just found. And they're so excited, and when they leave, they are so happy.
Yeah. They went on a shopping spree.
Exactly. That's what we want, is people that want to come in. They're going to have a great time. It is so much fun to do this. So we love to have volunteers come in and do all the things. And they don't have to volunteer for a whole day. You're here a couple of hours. That's all
Because
you
you're
have to
10
do.
to 6 on Tuesday and Thursday, and Saturday from 10 to 2.
10 to 2. And so you come in a half an hour before to help get things set up, and you stay a little bit later to sweep the floor and
Sure.
do things like that. But we're online. We have a website. We have a Facebook. We have an Instagram. And so we're easy to find. And you can come in and say, oh, I don't want to work with people. Great. We've got bags and bags and bags in the back that you have to separate
sort.
into sizes and put them into bins. You've seen the bins in the back. And so lots of things to do. Stickers on the shoes. You know, everything that comes in the door has to be processed before it comes to the sales floor, as it were, the shopping floor. But it's so much fun, and it's so exciting to do. And, you know, I have sitting here next to me a picture of my mom and dad sitting here all the time watching us do that. And I honestly believe that they would be so thrilled about this, because this is what they did all of their life, is they took care of people. And honestly, I think they would be really happy that we're taking care of people.
They would be very proud.
Loveland's own Railway Barbershop, right around the corner from Paxton's in downtown Loveland, is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, this isn't your standard barbershop. It's a whole vibe. Great music, local art, a pinball arcade, and even free beer while you wait. At Railway Barbershop, everyone is welcome. It's your hometown shop, comfortable, creative, and fun. And yes, all arcade games are free play. So book your next cut and use the code FROGMAN for $5 off. Limit 1 per customer. The Railway Barbershop. Make it your first choice for a quality cut at a place that's fun, unique, and special right here in Loveland. Looking ahead in Loveland, on April 11th, Astrovan is headed to the Loveland Stage Company's music series. Dubbed, quote, an evening with Astrovan, end quote, the show marks the band's first ever headline performance at the historic Loveland venue. It's a fitting stage for them as they thrive on close quarters energy and crowd-fueled momentum. Bring the whole family, grab your tickets, and get ready to party with your new favorite band. They promise a night of music, dancing, and a few special guests to add to the mix. And I did a podcast about them not too long ago, so check that out. Doors will open at 6:30, and the show begins at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 and are available at the Loveland Stage Company's website, and I will have a link in the description. We have something truly special here in Loveland. Thank you for listening, and have a great week. This episode was produced and engineered by myself, Mike Meldon, right here at Loveland. And please note that the opinions expressed in the podcast do not necessarily represent the views of our sponsors, our newspaper founders, or organization.